are back. My first guest this evening is, of course, the Emmy award-winning star of the hit show 24. Well, this Sunday night, Fox will air a 2-hour prequel to the new season called 24 Redemption. Please welcome Kiefer Sutherland.
Very good, very good. Thanks for having me.
Very nice to have you. You know, it's funny because I've noticed this before. You come out, I say, Kiefer Sutherland, you've been here a bunch of times, the band plays, you come out, big smile.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit at odds with your character. Do you know what I mean?
A little different,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's, hi, everybody, how are you? And it's not the Jack Bauer experience that we get, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm curious.
I get paid for that.
Yeah, you get.
This is for free.
I got nothing. I invested it all in GM. I'm just. It's gone. But I'm curious, do you, in your everyday life, because I have sort of almost a reverse situation. If people see me on the street and I'm just neutral, like just walking on neutral, they're like, hey, what's the matter? Yeah. You're not jumping around like Bob's Big Boy or, you know.
No, I get that a lot, actually.
You get people who, when you're smiling, do they expect the intensity from you?
I'm not smiling a lot.
Yeah.
It's, I've had one of those things, I was actually talking with my daughter about it. We were looking at photos of me when I was a kid, and I looked mad then, too. And
really?
Yeah. It's just the way my face falls.
Really?
You know? Yeah. Like that. Like that.
Happy birthday to me.
And so I got a lot of that from teachers, from my parents. Is everything all right? Yeah, I'm fine. What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
You know, but
it's good.
So Jack Bauer's a perfect character.
It's good because you can project that intensity. I cannot project that. I can never project intensity.
Oh, come on, let me see.
My intense is just like this. Hi. You know, it's like...
Try it without the vocal. Just do the stare. You have that down.
Without saying hi.
Yeah.
I don't think I can do that.
No.
This is my intense.
It's pretty good.
I wiggle the hair a little bit. I wiggle the hair to distract people. You know, it's interesting. In the first, I think, 6 seasons, which is hard to believe, but 6 seasons of the show 24, which always takes place, of course, in the 24-hour period, right. Jack Bauer has never... he's never had like a sip of water. He doesn't eat any food. He doesn't take a bathroom. Never goes to the bathroom, takes a bathroom break. Are they going to work that into the show at some point?
We actually have at different points. He actually, on camera, has had food and water.
Okay.
But the bathroom thing, there was one scene we were doing where I was running into a building, and I saw, and in the front of the lobby of this building were the washrooms. And I saw it, and I ran in, and I ran out, and they cut it. So I thought it was funny, but they cut it. That hit the floor.
When the whole series has to happen,
when you're cutting to someone else, that's what he's doing.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah. Have you ever thought of a whole season where it's the 24 hours and you're just in the bathroom? You've got a stomach virus.
That might be the final season. A transition season.
I would love to see the viewers blogging on, what the hell is this? Are you still in there, Jack? Yes. There's and it's in this episode. You have some great fight sequences, and clearly you've had to have some real training because it's very convincing. You have a move where you use your legs. It's kind of a scissor kick to break someone's neck.
Right.
It looks like kind of a plausible move.
It is, yeah.
It's a move that people can really use.
Absolutely, yeah, yeah.
I mean, I don't want to see that now, but. Is it something that someone had to train you to do? Do they have people that come in and say, "Okay, Kiefer"?
I've worked with some amazing guys. A lot of them now are actually making a living cage fighting because that sport has come up. But one of the first guys that I started working with was the top fighter, and it wasn't boxing, but it was all denominations. Top fighter in the Marine Corps, and we had a fight sequence that he worked with me a lot on in the 2nd season, and he's kind of been someone who I've worked with all the way through. Amazing fighter. But yeah, the only difference for me is that everything I learned to do, I learned to kind of stay about 3 inches away. So if I was going to hit you, it would be like that. So
that was good.
Thank you, and the reaction was very good.
I was just very frightened.
So So the problem for me in actually kind of taking everything I learned from 24 and putting it into any kind of reality is I'd be able to hit you 6 times really fast, but not one of them would make contact. So I would then get my ass kicked.
Yeah, that would be bad if you convince yourself, I'm going to give this guy the thrashing of his life. There was a lot of near misses.
Boom, boom, boom.
Why isn't he falling down? Where are the sound effects? There's some amazing stuff that you guys do. I mean, it just shows you how much TV has changed in advance. It's really, TV shows now, the good ones are like feature films. You guys have amazing, helicopter stunts where it really looks like, it doesn't look like green screen or CGI. It looks like you're on the helicopter.
Well, if we were a feature film, we could afford the green screen and the CGI.
Really?
Yeah.
So this is the irony, is they're telling you, here's the stunt, and we're really going to put you on a helicopter. And it looks like you're leaning. I saw something where it looks like you're falling out of a helicopter, leaning way over the side, and it's really flying. Is that real?
There was one, and I've done a lot of the helicopter stuff, and I'm pretty cool with all of it. So there was this one shot that we were doing. We were at about 1,500 feet in the middle of downtown Los Angeles, and we were above another helicopter. And this helicopter goes inverted, and at one point I was strapped in, and I kind of slide off the seat onto the skid, and I start firing a gun. Well, I have to fire the gun in a specific direction so the ejecting shells don't hit the tail rotor and take the helicopter down. And I'm focused on all of these different things, and I can't remember anyone tying me in. And so much production went into getting this shot off the ground that I was too embarrassed to stop it in case somebody hadn't. I just figured that they had. But when the helicopter actually went inverted and I actually did slide, I didn't feel it tug right away. And it's the one shot you'll see, my eyes literally went like that as I start to slide out of the helicopter. And
I hope they use that take. Yeah, that's the one you want to see.
It was the only take they got.
Yeah.
It was the only take they got.
I can't believe before that shot, someone said to you, all right, just make sure you get this angle on the gun or the helicopter will come down and crash.
Well, there was a potential for it.
Yeah, that's when I just go to my trailer and cry and don't come out. You have worked in Washington, D.C. You've actually shot there. You've met real people who are working on Homeland Security. Is that right? And what... are they fans? Do they? I mean, I imagine
they are fans. In fact, the time we were shooting in Washington, there was a delegation from Scotland Yard that was there, and then we happened to meet, and they were working with an FBI task force, and then we also met the real CTU people in Washington, and they were nice enough, kind enough to invite us to their offices. And we went, and the irony for us was that they had, obviously, with the terrible events of 9/11, their budget got upped, and they redid their offices, and their offices looked exactly like the set of 24. And
did they intentionally copy the set of 24?
We were too embarrassed to say anything about it, and then finally someone kind of said, "It's very funny how much our offices look alike," and the one head of the director said, "Oh, we did that on purpose." And so we were kind of...
Our tax dollar at work.
We were very... Well,
let's make it look like 24.
We were very flattered by that.
That's nice for them. Yeah. I want to make sure we get to this clip because the 24-Hour Redemption, this is sort of a prequel to the season.
Yes.
And it's interesting. It opens in Africa. Jack Bauer's in Africa now. And you worked with... Not all actors, trained actors in this. Is that right? You use real children?
All of the children were children that were selected by John Cassar, director. He had gone around to a bunch of schools in the area. Almost all of the children were from just from the townships, which is really a very tough place to live.
I can imagine.
It's unbelievable poverty, and yet these children had this unbelievable kind of presence and joy. And I come home and I see my kids and they're playing with a Game Boy or something. It's like, hey, yeah, and you can barely get a word out of them. And these kids were just really amazing. And they weren't professional actors, but they were so excited, I think, to be given an opportunity to do something different. And they were really, really special. They left a very, very deep impression on me.
In this, I think the plot is that if I'm correct, is Jack Bauer is with a friend who's running this school in Africa, and suddenly there's a leadership change, and you have to try and help the kids. Is that right?
The film centers around. There's a terrible social problem in our world about the number of children that are being used in wars, and not the traditional victim of a war, which you would normally think, but they're actually being used to do the fighting, and as young as 9 years old. And so Jack Bauer and this friend of his from the Special Forces are running this camp where they're trying to rehabilitate these children. And in this country, at this time, there's a revolution. And they're trying to scoop up the children. This Revolutionary Army is trying to scoop up the children to use them for the fight. And it's our effort through this day is to try and save them.
All right, well, let's take a look at this clip from 24 Redemption.
Everybody, follow me!
Truman's men are coming. Do you have a weapon?
How do you know this isn't just another rumor?
Do you have a weapon or not?
If they are coming, I will talk to them. They will listen to me.
Save your helmet for the parade. They are coming. Two of our boys have already been shot.
The United Nations remains neutral in this matter.
Son of a bitch. Still want to talk to them? I didn't think so. Why don't you go hide in the shelter with the other children?
You get tense. It's a 15-second clip. And it's 24 Redemption airs Sunday night at 8 on Fox, and it will also be out on DVD on Tuesday. So always a real pleasure having you here. Really,
so
really
much for
terrific
having me.
having you here. Kiefer Sutherland, we'll be right back. MSNBC's Rachel Maddow. We'll see you in a second.